Good morning, beloveds. The weather is weird and the news is the news. We went for a run today. I've got 16 floors on my Fitbit, so that would explain a bit about the way I feel today. And watching the news has just been heartbreaking. Just absolutely heartbreaking. And all I can do is continue to pray and, do my civic duty, and vote. And yeah. And then, yeah. All right. So, this is sacred time. I know what's going on in the world. I'm deliberately setting it aside, to do this. And so, good morning, beloveds. It is April 13th. In 365 days of richer living. Our title is I am impelled to count my blessings and to see God everywhere. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And that is Psalm 23:16. Wait. I'm sorry, that's April 15th. Let me back up. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to, it's huge. It's huge. All right. April 13th, I am a radiating center of joyous activity. Thou anointest my head with oil, from Psalm 23:5. All right. I am filled with the joy of living, for I know that I am created of the Spirit to express the Spirit. Therefore, I am a channel for joy. I let it flow from God through me into my world. I am a radiating center of joyous activity, and today I offer this to my world. My business is joyous, my home is joyous, my whole being is joyous. I thank God for life and for the zest of living victoriously in His perfect universe. My head is anointed with the joy of the Lord. It flows through my body as healing. It pours into my consciousness as unending inspiration. I relax and let this inner joy of the Spirit take over my life and all its affairs. I rest in the assurance that this is my day of demonstration, for my heart is glad and my whole soul is at peace. I am glad to be living in these times. There is a permanence to all good. Pardon me, let me try that again. There is a permanence to all good feelings when they are recognized as God in action. The zest of living is mine because I know that life flows through me with a joyous purpose. Within me is the Good Shepherd, the Christ, and He gives me joy that will not pass away. I enjoy life and I enjoy my relationships with people. God brings me a happy experience through every person I meet. I am glad to be alive as a spiritual being. Thinking of God as the source of my joy, my way is now easy and my burden is light. I know, as Jesus did, that He sent me. I know, as Jesus did, that He that sent me is with me. Mind directs me, love upholds me, power acts through me, steadfast thinking of truth. I walk steadfastly thinking of truth. I walk forward in life knowing that all things work together for my good. Okay, I'm struggling a bit more than usual today. All right. Starting reading the wrong day. Okay. Let's start with the fact that I am a radiating center of joyous activity. And I'm not today. I'm not today. And so now that I'm reading this, I have to figure out how to be that. And maybe one of the things that I can do is change my definition of joyous. Because sometimes that's what we have to do in sacred time and in sacred service, is we have to look at a word and go, okay, well, this is what I think this word means. But in this case, in this time, right now, I can't be that. But how can I fulfill this commandment? I'll use that word, commandment, to the best of my ability, given the circumstances. As a Science of Mind minister, I do understand that I'm going to look behind the circumstances, behind the conditions, and see the truth of the situation. But I'm still a Science of Mind minister, which means I'm going to acknowledge the situation and the conditions. So in this case, if I am called to be a radiating center of joyous activity, I'm going to change the definition of joyous a little bit for myself. Today, I'm going to use joyous a little bit more in the way that I would use full of awe. Full of awe. Because my goal today will be to walk in that path of knowing that I am spirit in motion. To allow that peace and that love and that calm to flow through me. So my joyous activity is not going to look exuberant, and it's not going to look what I would normally associate joyous with. Okay, but I am still going to walk through today in an awe-filled manner. So that's, if you're called to do something and you're like, I don't think I can be a joyous radiating joyous center of activity today. You still can, but let's just change the definition. Maybe you don't have to be that exuberant. Maybe you can be joyous in peace and joyous in, and do it in a different way. And that may help. Okay. Because I am filled with the joy of living. I am filled with the awe of living. I am filled with living. For I know that I am created of the Spirit to express the Spirit. That's why I chose awe-filled. Awe-filled. Because I know who I am. And I endeavor to know who everybody else is. And I hold the space so that everybody can know who they are. Therefore, I am a channel for joy. I let it flow from me, from God, through me into my world. I am a channel for joy. I'm going to repeat that a lot to myself today. I'm a channel for joy. Because I am letting I'm letting the love and the joy of God, the love of life, flow through me. The love of all life flow through me. I am a radiating center of joyous activity, and today I offer this to my world. Sometimes I feel called out by the readings, and today I'm feeling called out by the readings because I don't feel like being a joyous radiating center of activity today. And the reading is clearly going, yeah, well, maybe you don't want to, but this is what you have to do. All right. So, this is, yeah. Okay. My business is joyous, my home is joyous, my whole being is joyous. I thank God for life and for the zest of living victoriously in God's perfect universe. All right. I can do this. I thank God for life and for living victoriously in God's perfect universe. Remember, when we use the word perfect, we're not saying flawless, we're saying complete, we're saying whole, we're saying all inclusive. My head is anointed with the joy of the Lord. It flows through my body as a healing. It flows through my body as a healing. Which means I'm called to go to the place that nothing has ever been wrong. I'm called to go to the place where I meet the unfiltered God, the unfiltered Spirit, that place within me where nothing has ever been wrong. I go there, I fill up, and I bring that energy back into the world. Into this chaotic, messy world. I go and I get that energy and I fill up on it so that I can channel it through me into the people I meet, so that when people come into my presence, they leave a little bit better than they were when they walked in. That's the goal. That's the goal. Joyous? Yeah. Am I happy to be alive? Yes. I want everyone to be happy to be alive. Because there's a whole lot of people out there that aren't. And if in encountering me, I can bring a little bit of joy into their life, a little bit of happiness into their life, and they walk away from me better than when they walked in, then I've done my job. And it doesn't mean I have to do anything more other than be that child of God that I know that I am, and to see them as the child of God that I know that they are. So, my head is anointed with the joy of the Lord. It flows through my body as a healing. It pours into my consciousness as an unending inspiration. Meaning that as I encounter people, I am constantly inspired in my dealings with them. That when they meet me, they get exactly what it is that they need. And that I don't have to worry about figuring it out. I don't have to worry about it. I know that it's Emma. Emma Curtis Hopkins said, people wouldn't come to you if you didn't have if you didn't have something that served them. So when people show up in your life, you trust that you have whatever it is that they need. And be yourself. I relax and let this inner joy of the Spirit take over my life and all its affairs. I rest in the assurance that this is my day of demonstration, for my heart is glad and my whole soul is at peace. My whole soul is at peace. I am glad to be living in these times. And I am glad to be living in these times because I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to do. Apparently today, I am here to be a radiating center of joy. I'm here to figure that out. I'm here to be inspired. I am here to be a child of God. You are here to be inspired. You are here to be a child of God. And it doesn't require you to be anything other than wholly yourself. To be wholly loved. To be wholly, to be holy. There is a permanence to all good feelings when they are recognized as God in action. Oh, okay, let me read that one again. There is a permanence to all good feelings when they are recognized as God in action. So, a good feeling will stick around when we know that we are doing God's work. The zest of living is mine because I know that life flows through me with a joyous purpose. We were all born to change the world. But no one was born to make massive changes to the world. We were all born to make the little changes that add up to that great change. So you should never feel pressure on yourself that you have to make a big splash. The little things that you do, that's your purpose. The little I'm struggling for a word here. Being yourself, being that, I'm going to go back to the title, Radiating Center of Joy. That's your purpose. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to live as a child of God, to be a conduit of God's love, to be the living, breathing, loving hands and eyes and ears of God to your fellow godlings around you. Within me is the good shepherd, the Christ, and he gives me joy that will not pass away. We're all born with the Christ consciousness. It is up to us to accept it and to use it. I enjoy life and I enjoy my relationships with people. God brings me a happy experience through every person I meet, and I am glad to be alive as a spiritual being. Okay. God brings me a happy experience through every person I meet. I'm going to remind you that's hardball metaphysics. That is straight up hardball metaphysics. Because I don't know about you, but that's not been my experience. I don't not necessarily have a happy experience with everyone I meet, but occasionally when I am in those, because I had one yesterday. I had one yesterday where I had a customer and the interaction went there. And I realized in that moment that I had the power to change the interaction. Because if I continued to argue with her, it was just going to go bad. And so in that moment, it was up to me to be that child of God and to stop. And I did. And so, there's my power. There's my power. There's my power. I'm not going to say it was a happy experience, but it could have got a lot worse than it did. Because I recognized my power in the situation to change it. So, yeah. All right. Thinking of God as the source of my joy, my way is now easy and my burden is light. And therein lies probably the best advice in this whole thing. Thinking of God as the source of my joy. Where does my joy come from? Within me. It doesn't come from other people. It doesn't come from things. It doesn't come from anything outside of myself. My joy comes from spirit. And if I can hold on to that, then whatever situation I'm in, I can find joy. And that does not mean that I do not find joy in people and in things and, in events and situations. But it means that no matter what is going on around me, I have access to that joy. Thinking of God as the source of my joy. That means joy is always within you, no matter what is happening around you. I know as Jesus did that, and I'm assuming this is a Bible quote, because it's in quotes. He that sent me is with me. The source of my joy is God. The source of my joy is spirit. The source of my joy is love with a capital L. Mind directs me. Love upholds me. Power acts through me. Steadfastly thinking of truth, I walk forward in life knowing that all things work together for my good. All right. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to be a radiating center of joyous activity. Yeah, I know. I'm giving myself marching orders today. Now, I did start out by saying that I am changing the definition of joyous a little bit. I'm not doing wildly exuberant. I am going to go with the awe-filled, which can be a little quieter and a little more peaceful form of joyous. But today I'm going to remember where my joy comes from. And my joy comes from within. My joy comes from the source of us all. We're all made of God's stuff. God flows through each and every one of us. And that is our source of joy. And when we access that source and then interact with each other, our joy is multiplied. When we interact as children of God with each other, our joy is multiplied. So, I'm going to accept the mission. I'm going to accept the mission. And I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, to do something kind for yourself, to do something compassionate for yourself today and every day. Because some days it is more important than anything else that we be loving, kind, and compassionate to ourselves. Because when we do that for ourselves, then we have more to share with everybody else. All right? So I encourage you to have a joyous day from within, to go to that place that nothing has ever been wrong, to fill up on that joy of being a child of God, and bring that back out into your interactions with the world. Please know that you are a beloved child of God, always, always, in whom God is well pleased. This is the state of grace that we live in, always. So, I don't know that we're going to get any sun. We're up for some storms today, so if you're in that area, enjoy the rain. Enjoy the rain. Do something to engage your mind and your body. Get some fresh air. Drink some water. That always makes me feel better. Drink some water. Which is my way of saying, please take care of yourself. Please know that you are loved. And as always, as Ernest said, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven now. The good news is we're born with the Christ consciousness within us. All we have to do is activate it. And the password is love. Love yourself. Love others. Love the world. All right, beloveds. Have a joyous day. And do what you need to do. And know that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. with the daily guides on Facebook Live. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. on Facebook Live. And these are all archived on, mine are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube. All right? So if you ever want to go back and see what I've said on any day in the last year, you can find them there sorted into playlists by month. All right, beloveds. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself today and have as wonderful of a day as you possibly can. All right, beloveds.